In a humble village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling lake, poverty cast its long shadow over a dilapidated hut on the outskirts. Its mud walls, weathered by countless rains and scorching suns, struggled to contain the elements. Inside this modest abode, a mother's love burned brightly, offering warmth to her little son who was her entire universe. Every morning, she would awaken before the first rays of sunlight, her joints aching from a life of relentless toil. Her gaze, however, held an unwavering determination as she prepared for another day of backbreaking labor. The mother was known throughout the village as a hardworking woman whose dedication to her son knew no bounds. To feed and clothe him, she toiled tirelessly, leaving home each morning to scrub the pots and pans of wealthier households, sweep their courtyards, and tend to their children. In return, she received a meager wage, a few coins that represented not just financial security, but also the love and care for her precious boy. Yet many times, despite her Herculean efforts, these earnings barely managed to fill their empty stomachs. Evening would fall, and the mother would trudge back home, her body heavy with fatigue, her spirit unbroken. The meager earnings of the day clutched tightly in her hand. She would push open the creaking door of their hut, and her son would run to her, his innocent eyes shining with a mixture of hunger and hope. "Mother, what's for dinner today?" he would ask. With a tender smile, she would hand him a small cloth bundle. And that bundle, though often containing nothing but a single dry, stale piece of bread, was the center of their world. That evening was no different. Exhausted, covered in sweat and dust, the mother returned home carrying a small cloth bundle. Inside it lay only a single dry, stale piece of bread. As she pushed open the creaking door of the hut, her son ran to her and clung to her. His innocent eyes shone with both hunger and hope. Softly he asked, "Mother, what's for dinner today?" The woman's trembling hands placed the bread into his palm, and with a forced smile she said, "Here, my son, the tastiest bread just for you." The hungry child tore a piece and began to eat quickly, but then suddenly paused. Looking up at her, he said, "Mother, you should eat too." She gently stroked his head and replied, "No, my child, I ate earlier in the village." But in truth, not a single morsel had touched her lips since morning. Deep inside, she thought, if she told him the truth, he would insist on sharing, and she could never bear to see her son go to sleep hungry. Night fell, and with it, the rain began to pour. Water dripped through the old leaking roof. Quickly, the mother drew her son close to her chest to shield him from the drops. The hut trembled with every gust of cold wind. The boy, drifting into sleep, whispered softly, "Mother, one day we'll live in a big house, won't we? One where the roof doesn't leak." The mother felt a sharp ache in her heart. Tears welled in her eyes, but she fixed a smile on her face and said, "Yes, my son, we surely will. One day, everything will change." She stayed awake the entire night. The sound of her child's gentle breathing and the sight of his innocent face brought her some comfort. But inside her raged the storm of hunger and worry. She lifted her eyes toward the sky and whispered in prayer, "O God, make my son fortunate. Ease his life, even if mine remains filled with hardship." When the morning sun rose, light poured into the hut. The boy awoke and wrapped his little arms around her, laughing. His pure, innocent smile erased her exhaustion in an instant. She knew in her heart that his smile was her greatest treasure. Wrapping her old scarf around her head, the mother once again stepped out toward the wealthy homes of the village. Her steps were heavy, but her heart carried one single determination: to fight her son's hunger and turn his dreams into reality. Days turned into weeks, and the mother's resolve only grew stronger. She continued her daily routine, working tirelessly to provide for her son and dreaming of a better future for him. One day, while working at the home of a wealthy family, she overheard a conversation that would change their lives forever. The topic was the upcoming annual village fair, a celebration filled with joyous festivities, games, and most importantly, an opportunity to win prizes and earn money. Among the prizes, there was a grand announcement, a brand new house to be awarded to one lucky winner. Hope flickered in the mother's eyes. Could this be the answer to her prayers? As soon as she returned home that evening, she shared her newfound hope with her son. His face lit up with excitement, and together they began to plan their strategy. The fair was a week away, and they needed to prepare well. The mother knew that winning such a prize would require more than just luck. She had to be smart and quick-witted. So she spent the next few days meticulously planning out her participation. She saved every penny she earned, determined to invest it wisely. Finally, the day of the fair arrived. The mother, dressed in her finest clothes, took her son's hand and they set off for the bustling village square. The fair was a vibrant spectacle. Stalls overflowed with colorful merchandise. Acrobats amazed the crowd with their daring feats, and the air buzzed with excitement and anticipation. The mother and son made their way to the center of the fairground where the grand prize of a new house was being showcased. It was a beautiful structure, painted in warm, inviting colors, with a sturdy roof that promised shelter from any storm. Hope blossomed in the mother's heart. She knew that winning this house would mean a stable future for her and her son, a place they could call truly their own. But the path to victory was not easy. The competition was fierce. Many villagers, including some of the wealthiest families, had set their sights on the grand prize. Undeterred, the mother participated in every game she could, testing her luck and skill. She played the ring toss, aiming for the bottles with practiced precision. She tested her strength on the hammer game, hoping to ring the bell at the top. She even joined the sack race, her heart pounding with excitement as she hopped and skipped towards the finish line. Throughout it all, her son cheered her on, his laughter echoing through the fairground. His innocent support gave her strength, reminding her of the reason for her determination. Finally, the time came for the final game, a test of speed and agility. The mother found herself neck and neck with a fellow competitor, a young man from a wealthy family who had been eyeing the prize for himself. They raced across the field, dodged barrels, and leaped over hurdles, each move mirroring the other. In a photo finish, the mother crossed the line just a fraction of a second ahead. A wave of cheers erupted as she was announced the winner. Overwhelmed with emotion, she sank to her knees, tears of joy streaming down her face. Her son rushed to her, his arms around her, and together they embraced the moment of triumph. As the crowd dispersed and the fair wound down, the mother and son walked hand in hand towards their new house. The prize was exactly as promised, a cozy and secure abode that radiated warmth and promise. Stepping inside, the mother felt a profound sense of gratitude. This house was not just bricks and mortar. It was a symbol of hope, hard work, and unwavering determination. The walls whispered stories of a brighter future where her son would grow up in comfort and happiness. Looking down at her son, she saw in his eyes a reflection of the journey they had shared, the struggles, the hopes, and now the triumph. In that moment, she realized that their story was far from over. This was just the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with challenges, yes, but also with the unbreakable bond of their love, the strength of her son's innocence, and the resilience that had brought them this far. The mother knew that there would be more storms to weather and more battles to fight, but now she faced them with a heart full of hope and the promise of a roof that wouldn't leak.